Where am I going to get my protein? The first thing you have to realize is that protein deficiency cannot exist if you are getting sufficient food intake, sufficient calories. Only if you're starving, if you were starving to death, then protein deficiency can exist. In places like Africa, where it's sad to say people are starving to death, protein deficiency does exist. But in developing countries, it doesn't happen. Have you ever heard the disease called kwashiorkor? Kwashiorkor is the medical term for protein deficiency. You never hear of that because it simply doesn't happen. Because in developing countries, most people are getting sufficient food and sufficient calories. And the food intake need not include animal-based foods. That's key. Let me repeat it. Our food intake need not include animal-based foods. In 1988, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics changed their position on plant proteins. They said, and I quote, "Plant proteins provide all our protein requirements and all essential amino acids in healthy adults," unquote. In 1991, PCRM, Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, based in Washington, D.C., they approached the USDA, who's the government's agency to tell the people what they should be eating. Okay, the PCRM approached them and said, we want you to change the food pyramid to totally plant-based. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, nuts, and seeds. We want you to take meat and dairy out of the food pyramid. Needless to say, the meat and dairy industries went crazy. And the meat and dairy industries have been in cahoots with the USDA for decades. These are billion-dollar industries. They have a lot to lose if that pyramid is changed. So they tried to actually hold up the USDA putting out any new food pyramids without their products. But the bottom line is the USDA did come out with a new food pyramid, and meat is not included. That's right, meat is not included. They changed it. They took the word meat out and they put the word protein in, acknowledging the fact that you can obtain adequate protein from plant sources. Now, they kept dairy in there, but after that, Harvard University, once Harvard University saw that the USDA left milk in the equation, they came out with their own food pyramid, stating that milk is not a healthy food and it actually causes prostate cancer and ovarian cancer. So the meat and dairy industry, don't buy into that nonsense. They've been promoting their products since the early 1900s on an outdated study in 1913, and the study was done on rats. Rats and humans are totally different. Our protein needs are so different than rats. But that study is what has been used for decades and decades promoting these products, meat and dairy. So don't buy into this nonsense. I certainly don't. It's just marketing hype. I've been a vegan now for 7 years, okay? I'm 65 now. I feel better now than when I was 45, okay? When I was 45, I was eating burgers, pot roast, steaks, milk, cheese, pizzas, and I feel so much better now. It's like night and day. So just remember, you don't need animal-based foods. Certainly don't. I mean, Plant Kingdom has loads of protein, and the protein is in the perfect form and in just the right amount. I encourage you, on a plant-based vegan diet. All the best.